And we are back, and this is IGN Live at E3. Now, it feels like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away since we last had a dedicated Star Wars single-player game, but the upcoming Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is finally here to bring balance to the Force. If that wasn't enough Star Wars references for you, here's even more with IGN's Max Scoville and Respawn Games' Stig Asmussen for even more Star Wars.
Yeah.
Just tons more Star Wars. I could do that all day, by the way. Just quotes. That'll be the whole interview.
All right, good. Can I go?
Perfect. Yeah, you're done. We don't even need you. No, thank you so much for coming. You revealed, 13 minutes of gameplay footage yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's 13. I think it's 15 minutes, actually.
It's just out there on the EA Play experience. People are playing it too, right? Like
Yep. People aren't playing it. We have it in a theater.
Oh, okay.
EA Play, where we actually show 25 minutes of gameplay.
What?
So it's an extra 10 minutes that takes place before this demo. Some of it was just shown at the Microsoft press conference in a trailer that we did. But yeah, it's a more complete experience, and we felt like it would be cool to share that probably in the next coming days. Will we release that? I'm not sure exactly what day, but stay tuned on that.
Nice. Did you have a place you wanted to start with this, or you want to just kind of?
I mean, not to go like total geek on you. We're both big Star Wars nerds. We're kind of like, losing our ish a little bit right now because this is kind of what we wanted for a very long time. Max and I watched this trailer earlier, or this gameplay earlier. First of all, thank you for bringing gameplay to E3. That's huge. At Star Wars Celebration, when we got the story stuff, we were intrigued, and now seeing how it's actually going to unfold, seeing Forrest Whitaker's character, seeing the sort of BD1 stuff. I guess my question to you is, how is this game going to sort of scale for like single-player players who are novices and people who are looking for something completely hardcore and crazy? Because I think a lot of people were like, I need to play my games in the hardest difficulty. This better be difficult and kill me and make me angry.
Yeah, we're going to have different settings. We're still trying to work that out right now, to be honest with you. We've been doing a lot of external focus testing, seeing how people are playing the game, seeing what they're liking, what's working for them, and we're going to be fine-tuning that between now and release.
But your background's God of War 3, right?
Right.
And that's a game that's
I worked on all the God of War games.
Yeah, that's
up until 3.
So you're well versed in making games that are, if you want to have like a total power fantasy murder simulator, you can have that, and if you want a game that beats the crap out of you, you can have that too.
Yes, I mean that was one of the great things about God of War. This game's a little bit different. The way the combat system works out, it's not necessarily a button masher, where people could get through God of War that way. So. Yeah, we're trying to find the right balance. We realize this is Star Wars, and there's a huge fan base, and we don't want to alienate anybody. So
right. I think one of the things that sort of intrigued us was that there is. It seems to be more than just like troopers versus troopers, right? Like you're getting into a lot of weirder alien planets and species, which we really, it's cool to see that kind of stuff. There's giant spiders. There's bees.
Flame beetles.
Flame beetles. Wow, is that canon?
Of course they are now.
It is now.
We got a whole story group for
but
that.
They did, both the beetle and the Y-Shock spider, I believe, came from the expanded universe.
Right.
We brought them back in, working with Lucasfilm. I mean, basically every planet we go to, they have to have their own beasts. And
we were totally on the Wikipedia pages for all the spiders in Star Wars, by the way.
There's only like 3 species. Or
yeah.
something?
Did you see Y-Shock on there?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We wrote it down. And we're like, is that him?
Yeah. One thing we saw, I don't think we have an image of it here, but on the cover of Game Informer, there's what appears to be a gigantic Sarlacc pit. Can you address that at all?
It is not a Sarlacc pit.
Oh, what?
It's like some sort of megafauna, but not a Sarlacc.
It's along those lines, but it's definitely inspired by the Sarlacc.
Wow.
So.
I mean, what's cool about this is sort of the time period you guys have picked gives you a lot of room to play around. Like I think one of the biggest problems I have with sort of Star Wars is that feeling of like everyone knows each other and everything's sort of too convenient. And in this case, you kind of you're in the dark times. You're in kind of a gray area where you can cherry pick a little bit from the prequels and Clone Wars and Rebels, and you can also dabble a bit with original trilogy stuff. And we're seeing like a kind of cool mixture of that.
Yeah, that's intentional. We wanted to make sure that we had a time period that gave us freedom, like you said, but also was intriguing for the type of game mechanics that we wanted to have. We wanted this guy to be being hunted and have a reason to basically go out and fight with extreme prejudice. If he doesn't fight back, he's going to get captured and killed.
Right. Now, we've heard that there are sort of like maybe hub areas or like larger spaces where players can sort of like I don't hang out, hunt. Like what happens in these hub areas?
You hang out.
Just chill.
No, but
it's like a Jedi couch.
That's in the larger demo, the 25-minute demo that we have. There's a section where you liberate a landing pad that was once Imperial. You're able to take it over, and at that point, your ship is able to land there. So you could consider it kind of like a green zone, a safe zone. And at these hubs, you can have kind of opt-in conversations that are a little bit lighter than normal cinematics that we have in the game. But you can also get in your ship and access the HoloNav system, which allows you to pick different planets, and if you've unlocked them. And that's kind of the key to our level design, is we're taking a Metroidvania approach. You don't really see it in this.
I love those words.
So do I. You don't really see it in this 15 minutes right here, but this is more kind of like what we would call a Star Wars wow moment. The 15 minutes, the 25 minutes, the 10 minutes that lead up to this, and this 15 minutes is much more scripted and linear than most of the game. And we have maybe a handful of moments like that in the game, but everything else is more about exploring the world, getting new abilities that allow you to unlock gates that were on previous planets that you were on. Those gates might take you to another ability that allow you to go back to the planet that you were on and proceed further.
Now, you said the word Metroid in the first half of the word Metroidvania there. Again, one of my favorite words. But something we saw BD1 do for a second there is that sort of he seems to kind of chart his own path here and there, like through certain tunnels or areas.
Yeah.
Is there going to be kind of Star Wars Morph Ball sections, essentially?
No. That's a cool idea, though.
It's a free one. It's on the house.
Okay, next game.
Fair enough.
The other thing we saw is that the character gets a force point at one point.
Yes.
And doesn't use it.
Yes.
That's infuriating because I want to know where it goes.
Watch the 25-minute demo. It's
Anything?
basically, we have save points in the game, and at these save points, Cal meditates, and you can also access the tree there, the skill tree, and you can spend your points on new abilities, upgrading force powers, those kind of things.
Does Yoda burn that one too?
The Force tree.
Another good idea.
There we go.
Yoda comes and burns your whole skill. No, I like this because we're kind of conditioned to think of Metroidvanias as being all sort of in one location, like one larger hub, and clearly there's some of that because I'm guessing some of the wall running and some of the climbing and force pulling vines and doing stuff like freezing the fan are things you learn how to do, but at the same time also having ship upgrades lets you go to different sort of hubs and things. How much backtracking is sort of encouraged here?
A lot.
Yeah.
Retraversal is a real thing in our game. And the cool thing about it is that as you get more powerful, the encounters that were once tough, you now can begin to dominate.
Okay. I guess I'm thinking this of the idea of like this sort of multi-layered, Metroidvania, because we're so sort of accustomed to, like, I mean, you think jumping from point to point with sort of that, we're used to that with like Uncharted, like you get on the plane and you go to a different location, and that's sort of that linear sort of fast travel experience. But in this case, you're hopping in your ship and jumping around.
Yeah, I think the best way to kind of explain it would be, think of your ship as the elevators in Metroid Prime. It takes you to the different planets, but even on planets we have separate precincts that can also have retraversal in them. So it's a little bit different. I mean, we studied Metroid, and I would say our game has evolved. It's not one-to-one. It's a different game, but it's definitely inspired by that.
Again, that is like very, very awesome to hear. That totally makes me
I'm really excited to see what people think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. That's bringing in some great DNA.
We just, at work just last week, we made some breakthroughs of like how to make the design even more friendly and give the player more choices, and I mean, we're still tweaking it. That's why I'm saying it's evolving.
Now, we saw at the very beginning of the beautiful cinematic trailer that wonderful shot of Cal's climbing up the side of an AT-AT, which felt sort of akin to like Shadow the Colossus.
Yeah.
And then he sort of carjacks it. Can you drive vehicles in this game? How much variety?
You could drive that one.
You can drive that one. Okay.
I'll leave it there.
You're going to leave it there? This is what I hate it. We want to.
Come on, we gave you 25 minutes.
Yeah, but
That's true.
We're greedy. We want more.
Forrest Whitaker's character from Rogue One, how sort of do you decide where to push and pull from existing characters that people might know from the iconic films and then make up new ones? I mean, I know you're probably there's probably an urge to go like, well, this character's around and people love him, so bring him in. But what about this one over here? He's more of a deep cut.
Well, we want to create some of our own characters as well, too. So Forrest just made a lot of sense, or Saw made a lot of sense in this time period. And it was something that very early on, the topic of including Saw in the game came up. And I think it was around the time that, I mean, Rogue One was very relevant at that time. I mean, it's still a great movie. But yeah, I think that for us, it's more important that we're introducing like kind of new ideas. We want the game to be, we don't want to just lean into the things that we've seen over and over again. Even though they're great, we wanted this to be a new Star Wars experience. We think it's literally the best galaxy for storytelling. There's so much there, and why not just create some new stuff?
I really appreciate that, actually, because we're kind of always joking about how it has the word galaxy in it, but it feels like there's like 40 people that are all friends and they all know each other, like a sitcom. But it's cool to know about sort of deeper pockets. Like, I actually really like what some of the, like we saw in movies like Solo, where they sort of dig deeper into pockets of the universe that we haven't really known much about.
Can you tell us anything about Deborah Wilson's character?
Her name's Seer Junda, and she's a former Jedi, and she's got this basically Hail Mary idea of a mission, real shot in the dark of restarting the Jedi Order. I don't want to get into the details of what it is, but it's enough to convince Cal to go along the ride. I mean, I think the biggest thing for Cal is that she offers the experience to potentially help mentor him and train him up to go from being kind of this half-baked Padawan into a full-fledged Jedi Master. She's got her demons.
Yeah, she seems kind of intense.
She's a great actress too.
Is BD1 upgradable?
Yes.
Can you tell us how?
Yeah, well,
Journalism, everyone. You ask politely and then shyly at the same time and hope for the best.
I can talk about some of the stuff. He's got we find a mechanic, actually in the longer demo, he gets upgraded with this ability called Overcharge, which allows him to kind of jumpstart derelict equipment, bring it back to life. And he can be used as like kind of a hook when Cal is going down zip lines. He's got like a map system on him that's very, very much inspired by Metroid, so it just gets projected from him. He has the ability to shine a light in dark spaces, so Cal's lightsaber works as a torch, but BD's light actually points wherever the camera is pointing on the screen, so you kind of get more directional light, where Cal's light is more radial. There's other things that we're going to upgrade, too.
Secrets. The secrets of Star Wars. Stig, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I honestly cannot wait to find out more about this game. That just about is all the time we have for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Right now, we have plenty more coverage on IGN between now and when it comes out on November 15th.